Welcome back to another episode of Unveil the Real Podcast. I'm your host, Scoobs, and today we're going to continue in the Apocalypse series, part 2, where I will be giving you guys my list of food and supplies that I will prepare for me and my family in an act of an apocalypse. So here in part 2, I will give you guys my list for food and supplies that will be in my bag, no matter what the situation might be. All right, so let's get into that. All right, well, the first item on my list is, a lot of people might not be surprised from this, but it is alcohol, right? Good old fashioned alcohol. Please don't judge me. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people gonna laugh at that part. But again, alcohol, man, very good. It's definitely a lot of benefits. It's a good fire starter, you know, in cases. If you do it the proper way, it can be a good sanitizer, you know, for cleaning hands off, cleaning different body parts too. It's also good for cleaning wounds, you know, for cuts and just any type of like cuts and scrapes and things like that, depending on where you're at or what conditions you're in. It sterilizes your first aid equipment as well. You know what I'm saying? Everyone sees this, you know, you got to get stitches, things like that. It's very good for those type of situations. Oh, excuse me. And last but not least, it is a good sleep aid. It can also, you know, tough times, you probably are having a hard time sleeping, or you know, you got enemies everywhere, but hey, if somebody else is on guard, it still might be hard for you to sleep. You know, get you a little nightcap, you know, you'll be all right. You'll be knocked out in no time. Next on my list, I got protein powder. All right, a lot of people are wondering probably why. For me, it's going to be a lot about weight. You know what I'm saying? I'm a big guy. I'm probably going to have to carry the majority of whatever, you know, the supplies and things like that. But protein powder is definitely good for you. You know, a lot of benefits to that as well. Good filler, of course, too. Next item on my list is powdered milk. All right, now follow along with me because I'm kind of, a few items as far as food is kind of going in order, but we're going to mash it all together. Powdered milk, good for protein, calories, and you can also make butter out of this as well. All right, next on my list, I have rolled oats. Rolled oats last up to 25 to 30 years. It's a good filler. You know, obviously you can eat it breakfast, lunch, and dinner, depending on the type of survival situation you're in. But again, you can add your powdered milk, you know, mix it with the water, or you can even add your protein powder to really give you a nice filler. All right. Next on my list is honey. Honey is a very good one as well. You can add that to the oatmeal as well, because it's a natural sweetener. You know, eating a tablespoon of it, or whatever the case may be, it can be good for fighting infections. It heals wounds. If you put it on there properly, it definitely heals wounds. I seen the situation, I think it was on, I think it was in one of the Equalizer movies with Denzel. He heated the honey up, and then he put the hot honey on the wound where he got cut or shot at or whatever. And last but not least, honey is good for the gut. You know, if everyone's in a survival situation, you're going to be faced with, you might have to eat things you don't normally eat. And, you know, honey could be the one thing beneficial to help your gut out in them type of situations. Next on my list is canned meats. It's about no surprise. It's just beneficial. Different type of canned meats, canned turkey, canned tuna, different canned meats like that are so beneficial. Has packed with a lot of protein, and that's what is going to really help you get through the day. I know I'm wrong for this, but water should have been the first on the list. Water and water filtration. It should have been first on my list, but again, alcohol has a lot of benefits to it. But again, water and water filtration, they have so many different, you know, methods you can use in order to drink clean, filtered water. But water is definitely on that list. Next on my list is beans. Beans, beans, beans. All different types of beans. Real good for you, gives you lots of energy. Beans also, they're packed with a lot of vitamins and protein as well. One in particular bean that I was just doing research on that I was discussing with my wife is lentil beans. Lentil beans, a lot of benefits, high in protein, a lot of calories as well. Good in fiber, you know, we all need that in those times. And more importantly, it is very lightweight. You know, it's probably one of the lightest beans that you can come across and carry. Having more room in your bag and, you know, keeping things light because you never know what type of journey you're going to be on in these situations. So, and one more thing to add about lentil beans is the cook time. It cooks very fast. It cooks faster than most other beans as well. So that's definitely something a lot of people might want to look into. They cook faster than most of the raw beans. Next on my list, I have peanut butter. Very good source of healthy fats, high in protein. You know, it's definitely a good treat for you as well. You know, I got a little sugar and, you know, who doesn't love peanut butter? I know some people don't love peanut butter, but hey, I love peanut butter. Next on my list is rice. Rice is something that never goes bad as long as you keep it stored in a dry environment, keep it, you know, sealed tight. Rice is something that you can cook and eat with just about anything, you know, add that with your canned meats or make something new out of it if you can. All right, so next on my list, this is something I thought, you know, is still lightweight, you know, when it's raw and easy and pretty quick to cook. And that is pastas, right? Very, you know, high in carbs, calories, things like that. But again, very light to travel with. And, you know, it's just a good benefit. You know, you can add that as well to your rice, beans, meats, things like that. So pasta. Me, when I was a young parent, I used to use these a lot. Instant potatoes, instant mashed potatoes. But if you really think about it, you can buy so many packs of these, and one pack could feed maybe 2 to 3 people, you know, and all you're doing is adding water and your different seasonings and things like that. So instant potatoes is definitely on my list because again, it's something lightweight that you can fit in your pockets, fit in your backpack, whatever the case may be. Instant potatoes. I love instant potatoes. All right, next on my list is by no surprises, different varieties of nuts, right? Cashews, almonds, walnuts, pecans, macadamia, whatever type of nut you like. Again, very lightweight, you know, a lot of healthy fats, definitely protein, got carbs, calories. Nuts really would do the job just when you're on the go or when you really just need to eat something that's, you know, not too much, not too anyway. Last but not least, you know, again, we can fit so many things, but again, if you are on the go and you have a bag, you're going to be limited on just space, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of things. But the last thing on my list is baking soda, all right? Me and the wife are actually discussing this, but again, it's a good neutralizer, you know, and a deodorant replacement. Depending on the type of situation that you might be in a situation with the apocalypse, or you got to be on the go, you running out of deodorant, you running out of a lot of stuff, that baking soda, again, lightweight, you know, depending on how much you have, but it can be a great benefit with a lot of things. This is my list for food in the case of an apocalypse. This list is great for shelf life. Again, a lot of it is high in calories, protein, things like that. But again, in the case that you are on the go, you can also just throw it in your bag and just get on the go. Next, let's get into supplies, man. I'm gonna get through this list as quick as I can, but supplies is definitely more important than, yeah. Obviously we need food, but supplies is definitely important. So the first item on my list for supplies is a waterproof bug out bag. It's no question, but again, It's called a bug out bag because it is the last resort. These are bags that we will have ready as soon as we need to leave the house and get out on foot. This bag has all the supplies and of course some foods in there that we need in order to just be on the go and to survive. Some stuff that's in the bag, the first item on my list is socks. All different types of pairs of socks, man. It's gonna be different pairs of socks in everybody's bag. That's the first item that has to be on the list, man. If we on the go, if we on foot, we gotta get going, Gotta keep your socks. The next few items that are in this bag are cooking utensils, all right? Of course, I just went in all the food and things like that. You gotta have something to cook all this stuff with, of course, right? So between like a stainless steel, small little kettle or pot, one is stainless steel, you can put it under the fire. Spoons, whisks, things like that in order to just successfully just cook this food, wash it off or, lick it off, whatever you got going on, pause, and then get back on the go. Next in my bag, and it will be in all of our bags, is feminine hygiene products. Yes, these products are going to be used for men and women, but again, me having a wife and 2 daughters, we have to have plenty of these type of, items in everyone's bags for everyone's use. Next item I got on here is hand warmers, okay? Depending on the weather conditions, and again, regardless, at nighttime in most cases is going to be cooler. And, who knows what we might be into, but again, just to keep ourselves warm and safe, hand warmers, definitely on my list. Small, does not take up a lot of room, so it has to be on my list. Now we have sleeping bags. It's just got to be used on the go. We never know what conditions we're going to be in, but we got to have something to sleep on. I ain't sleeping on the ground unless I have to. This next item, this is something that is in everyone's household, or it should be, but it is a first aid kit, for the cuts, the bruises, whatever the case may be. Everyone should have a first aid kit in their bag, no matter what the conditions might be. Something to go along with water, and I think it's very important, and I think most people in the world know this by now, but a stainless steel water jug, something that won't rust. It will never go bad, it'll keep your water secure, as long as you got a tight lid. Keep your water cold or warm, whatever the conditions you might want to be in. And some stainless steel jugs you can actually boil the water or cook with as well. So, that might be something to look into. So something I definitely feel like everyone should have that can be so many different benefits depending on what conditions you all are in are different types of knives. Okay, knives for cutting wood, shaving to start a fire, going hunting, self-defense, whatever the case may be. But I would say at least like 2 to 3 different variety of different types of knives. Also, a knife sharpener as well. If you can find one, if you can get a hold of one, a knife sharpener is the one thing that's going to keep your knives from getting dull and not being ready when you need it to be ready. And kind of going along with knives is also different types of hand saws, if that makes sense, cutting off different little branches, different trees and things like that. Because again, if you actually have to be outside and you have to find wood, cut it to get a fire started, you need different types of hand saws to get started. All right, now next, depending on if you're in the city or whatever type of environment you might be in to where you might have to actually cut through a fence, I would definitely invest into some bolt cutters. Now again, they're pretty small, they can definitely fit in your pocket or your backpack, whatever the case may be, but some bolt cutters, depending on if you in the city, situations like that, you just need to get through. Hey, get you and your family out of there. Bolt cutters, man. Please invest into some of those. This next item, I don't want to get too far off into details with it, but it's a handheld shovel. okay? A handheld shovel. It can be used, of course, to dig, you know, rather you're trying to build a fire or whatever the case may be. But if you got to actually handle your business, you know, obviously you want to dug it out, throw it away, whatever the case may be. You might not want to burn it. You might want to dig to bury it. A lot of people know where I'm going with this. I know it sounds disgusting, but you never know what type of situation you might be in. It's pretty nasty. Now, this next item, this is something that I really had to get a better understanding for and do some research on. It's actually pretty simple though. It's called Mylar bags, and it's just bags, extra bags that you use when you are when you're storing different items, or definitely food, because it keeps it dry, it keeps it just safe, you know, keeps a nice seal on it, okay? And it's called the Mylar bag. These next few items are a couple things that I feel like everyone's household should have, or everyone's using in their lifetimes. And a few of them are bug sprays, sunscreens, different things like that that is going to just protect your skin and protect you obviously from bugs as well. Another fun fact going along with bug repellent is also peppermint oil. They do sell this in not all grocery stores, but most grocery stores, but it's pretty convenient. It's something different you can keep, again, small jar of or big jar, whatever. But it's a very good bug repellent, you know, to keep the bugs away. Peppermint oil. Now, if you're ever in a situation to where you don't have what it takes to actually start a fire, you know what I'm saying, with your hands or whatever the case may be, now, this is why it'd be a good benefit to keep lots of lighters and even waterproof matches in your bag as well. Lighters and matches, everyone knows they do not weigh next to anything. So, of course, obviously, the more you have, the more it's going to weigh. But matches and lighters are a very good benefit to have if you need to start a fire, if you need to light a candle, you know, things like that if you're in dark places. Next on the list is pretty convenient depending on what type of situations you're in, but either heavy duty rope or cordage, right? So again, if you're out, gotta sleep in a tent, things like that, or you gotta climb, whatever, you know, cordage is definitely good. Good quality rope, you know, but just depending on what type of situation you're in, rather you gotta set a trip, you know, because you're trying to sleep in your tent, or you gotta set a trap because they after you. Just depends, you know what I'm saying? But again, it's always just safe just to be ready for whatever. That could weigh a little bit more, but again, hey, y'all better get in the weight room. That's all I gotta say. Now, this next item on the list, I actually did not add it to the food because of how lightweight it is. It can actually just fit on the go. It's actually better in a backpack on the go. It's called the MREs. Please look up, it's those three letters, MREs. It's basically meals ready to eat. You know, it's just a meal ready to eat on the go. You do not have to heat up these meals. You don't have to cook them. Basically just, hey, open it right up and it'll explain to you what it is. It's ready to eat. If you're on the go, MREs is the way to go. I'm actually looking into purchasing some right now, just so I can just start actually seeing how it tastes and, you know, looking at the expiration dates and things like that. But from what I'm hearing, they do last a long time. So MREs, you know, definitely look into that. Next thing on my list, and it is probably one of the most important things, especially when you got to handle your business or whatever the case may be, but it's called hand wipes, okay? Water hand wipes, okay? Now, this is how they look. This is actually how they look, you know, individually, right? Now, and as you guys are looking at the video, this is how it looks when you actually put it in just a little water. It doesn't even take a lot of water. But again, I bought a pack of these Man, I actually bought it about a year or two ago, but I mean, they never go bad. They're so good to just have around the house, even if you don't use them. But again, in a situation like this is a 200 pack right here. And when I tell you, I probably played no more than I don't even remember honestly. But again, of course, some good benefits to this is it can be used as a hand towel. But again, if you got to use the restroom, you got to wipe, rather than doing the number one or number two. If you want to give yourself a quick wipe down, a quick wash up as well, I'll definitely use them for those. Rather, wiping, cleaning off wounds, sterilizing and just cleaning those type of situations. So these can be used a lot of different ways, you know what I'm saying? So I would definitely invest into these. I'm actually going to get some more of these because there are 3 women in my house. Next on the list is the essentials that everyone should have automatically. But again, you never know what type of situation you might be in. But it is soap. And in my case, I would prefer either unscented soap or just, some type of antibacterial soap. Shampoo, again, still, if you're out there, you're gonna have to figure it out. Your head itching, you sweating, not things like that. But I think more importantly, because if you're limited on supplies, and you might have to really, really just discipline yourself by not drinking so much water, and you might be dehydrated. So I would say chapstick or Neosporin or Vaseline. Quite a few of those items can be used not only just for your lips, but they can also be used to heal, different cuts and bruises as well. And again, I mean, if you're depending on the type of situation we're all going to be in, to where you might have to clean your water, or you might have to really wait 30 minutes to an hour, even after you boil the water, things like that, you're going to be dehydrated. We all seen how these conditions have been if you watch any type of survival movie or whatever the case may be. But I think that's just something good to add. When you get everyone knows when you get dehydrated, your lips, you feel it. Another great item that can be used even for rescuing. It's a good power source as well if you get the solar panel version, but it's a crank radio. Okay, a crank radio can be used to try to pick up signals, to figure out what's going on in the world wherever you're at. But also, you can charge your phones, charge your other radios, or charge other different devices like that as well. It's called a crank radio. I feel like this next one is a great benefit to have in order to fix things, in order to patch up things as well, which is why I would suggest investing in a good duct tape. Okay, duct tape can be used for so many different things that I just explained, but please try not to go the cheaper route. Try to get some good tough duct tape that is going to last a long time. Now, if you're outdoors, tarps is a great thing to have around. You might have to lay on it. You might have to cover up yourself, if you don't have a poncho or whatever the case may be. But a good tarp is very beneficial in a lot of situations. And last but not least, okay, to me, this is probably one of the most important things, because it's just something that really is going to keep your mind stabilized. And again, you're going to be bored, if there's no power, no electricity, whatever the case may be. So I would say a few items like notebooks, books, cards, domino, just whatever the case you can gather that can fit in your, luggage or whatever the case may be, that won't take up a lot of space, So a good book, good notebook, write a journal, things like that. So now you have my list for food and supplies. I highly suggest you guys start slowly but surely, start adding these items and just storing them away in a safe place, okay? I've showed you guys a few items that I have, and I strongly encourage you guys to please just start somewhere, little by little. It could add up. And again, over time, switch it out if it's past the due dates, or try it out as well too. So guys, get those bags ready. We would love to hear what you guys will put in your bag. So please comment as far as food and supplies. What would you have in your bag? Now, part 3, we will be discussing our loadout and our skill sets, right, for the apocalypse. We can't wait to hear from you guys, and we'll see you at the next one.